welcome back to my channel. This is everybody's favorite Noona, Michelle, and we are back with our K-pop astrology series. Yay! I am so excited. This is episode 2, and if you joined us for episode 1, you'll know that we did half of the group of Treasure. But before then, I would love to introduce my lovely, lovely friend, Kelsey. Kelsey is like an astrology extraordinaire. This is her fun party trick that she likes to whip out in social settings, and it is so much fun. She did my reading just sitting on her couch one day, and it was one of the most fun things I've literally ever done, and it was very, very insightful. So we have her back for episode 2 and the second half of Treasure, but Kelsey, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. So, hi, I'm Kelsey. I'm one of Michelle's friends. And yeah, like Michelle said, this has kind of been my party trick since college. Honestly, I just love getting to know people, and I think it helps people communicate if you know their astrology signs. So for me, that's like my sneaky little way of doing it. It's like, you want to learn more about yourself? Great. I need to know more about you too. So perfect. Kill two birds with one stone. So I love doing this. I am by no means an expert. I think we said that in part 1 too.
Yes.
This is literally just my hobby. So if you hear me say something and you're like, that's not right, just let us know. Very
Totally.
open to stuff like that.
Totally. And a couple other fun things too. So Kelsey knows very little, honestly, about Treasure. So that's why this also makes this fun, because she has a pretty unbiased opinion. She did watch some episodes of Shining Solo with me, again, hanging out on her couch, forcing people to love Treasure just as much as I do. Did that with Kelsey. So she knows a little bit of that. We watched a couple music videos, but it's not like Kelsey is a Treasure stan. So all of what we say today is going to be based on Kelsey reading the members' star charts. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Star chart? Yeah.
Yeah.
Star charts, rather than like making an analysis of the actual individual real life human person in general. So please don't take it that way. She's literally reading their star charts. She's giving some insight into their different planets and whatnot. And it may relate to the members we're going over, or it might not. We want to hear from you if you're like, wow, that really tracks for that member. Awesome. Let us know. I certainly love Treasure, so I'm going to interject my little stories too. But if you're like, no, they're absolutely nothing like that, we want to hear that too. This is a fun getting to know you thing, like Kelsey said. So take everything with a grain of salt. We are reading based off of their planets, not the person. And yeah, with that, we might as well go ahead and get started. I'm so excited because selfishly, my bias is in this week's episode. Last time in episode 1, we did Jihoon, Jungkook, Asahi, Haruto, Jaehyuk. If you haven't noticed by now, that is episodes 1 through 5 of Shining Solo. I thought it would be fun to group them that way. And then this episode 2, is going to be the second half. So we'll have the second half of Shining Solo crew. It is Hyunsuk, Yoshi, Doyoung, Jung-u, and Junghwan. So I'm very excited because actually Doyoung and Junghwan are also my bias wreckers. So this is going to be a very extra super duper fun episode for me in that way.
Yes, definitely. Also, if you hear any noises behind me, I do have a 9-pound chihuahua who insists on being heard. So I promise you, he just passed, I'm sure. He just jumped on my bed. But yeah, so if you hear something weird, it's probably him. But jumping right into it, let's get started with Hyunsuk.
Our oldest member.
Yes.
Yes.
It's so funny because like going through all of these birth dates, I obviously did not know them beforehand, and there's so much more of an age gap than I expected. I don't know why I thought they were all like within 2 years of each other, but they're not.
99 to 05. 6 years.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's quite a gap.
that's crazy. So for Hyunsuk, and just like a quick overview, we sort of touched on it in part 1, but I'll be going over their sun, moon, Mercury, and Venus. Your sun is like what you present to the world. When people ask you what your zodiac sign is, you say your sun. And then your moon is sort of like your emotions, the side of you that only really close friends and family see. Mercury is how you communicate with the world, and Venus is how you love, both platonically and romantically. So he is a Taurus sun, Cancer moon, Aries Mercury, and Gemini Venus. And my first impression from his overall chart was just like very in your face, but not in a mean way. You kind of have a lot of signs that insist on being heard and seen. So starting off with Taurus, a Taurus sun is somebody who uh, is very much comfortable in themselves. Like you're rarely finding a Taurus who is, I mean, they'll be insecure, but they'll also know who they are. And the one thing that I think I said in the last episode too is like Taurans are right even when they're not right. Like they are convinced they are correct. Like you cannot tell a Taurus that they are wrong. That does not work that way. Um, and so I think he could be a little headstrong for sure, especially having his moon in Cancer as well. So Cancer is a very emotional sign. I think the way I described him last episode is like if they forget their headphones on the way to the gym, like their entire day is ruined. I feel that way about Cancer and Pisces. You know, they just feel things very deeply. And so that being in his like emotional center means he internalizes his emotions a lot deeper than other people. He's not afraid to shy away from them. He's not afraid to show people how he feels. Cancers are very upfront. Like a lot of people see them as being like a very soft, a very demure, loving sign. Like they're still really upfront with you. And
Mm-hmm.
they love to like tell you what they hate. They love to tell you what they love. Like they want their opinions heard as well. So I think if he's like in an emotional mood, he would be one person to kind of share it or even seek out counsel. Like he's the first person to be like, I just need a hug. I just need to vent. Like I just need to get this out. And that kind of comes into his Mercury as well, because like his Mercury, how he communicates is in Aries. Aries, again, very headstrong, very outspoken.
Mm-hmm.
But at the
Aries is
same
a fire
time,
sign, right?
yes, Aries is a fire sign. And I think when I see it in Mercury, I see it as somebody who is not only like when he communicates outwardly, he's very honest, very headstrong, but at the same time, like he wants everybody to understand where he's coming from. It's not like I'm going to say this and I don't care if you get it. I'm just going to say it to hurt you. I'm going to say it to like make you understand my point of view. He really, really is desperately wanting other people to see his point of view. And so, and the same comes from like communication backwards. He wants to hear out all parties. And I know he used to be the leader. So I think
Yeah,
that
I was
was
gonna
probably
say
something that
interesting
like,
points for a leader and can make a strong
mhm,
leader as well, right? You need to be
totally.
outspoken, you need to get your point across. When you are the middle person between the members and the company, like you need to be that person a lot of times, more often than not.
Yeah, his entire chart doesn't read as very shy to me. Even if he is more
Mm,
introverted, he's not shy. Like he is gonna say how
yeah.
he feels. He's not gonna like just keep it to himself. There's nothing about this that says he internalizes anything. He's very much somebody who like analyzes, takes his emotions, wants to feel them, and then wants everybody to kind of know about it as well. And when he's taking in those opinions, like he wants to hear out everybody. I think I said on the last episode, Aries is somebody who is more worldly. They want like the
Mm,
opinions of everybody. They're kind of one of my one size fits all signs that can get along with any type of personality. His Venus in Gemini, I know a couple of the boys had this in the first part too. To me, this is just someone who is like fiercely loyal, knows what they want, isn't going to settle for less, kind of stubborn, but not in a bad way. But I think something that I didn't mention as hard in the last episode is like they can be kind of hot and cold. I think the best way to put this is like Gemini is known for being, I hate this term, but like two-faced. Like their sign is the twins. You know, they have their very outgoing personality, but then they kind of have what is left under the surface, and that's kind of who they really are, and they don't really show that to many people.
I am a Gemini sun sign, so I get that. I feel that very deeply. It may not be in my Venus, but like that is my sun sign. So
Yes.
yeah, big
And it's
Gemini
very
over here.
similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would say that you are definitely like what I would think of as a Gemini. And I think the Venus in Gemini to me is also somebody who like they will always love you, but they might not like you right now. And they need
Totally.
to like go figure their stuff out and like have a little meltdown and come back.
Many
That's my
meltdowns in
no
private. Absolutely.
totally. Yeah, absolutely in private. So I think he's, to me at least, just reading his chart blind, very headstrong, very outspoken, but also somebody who wants to hear everybody's opinions. He's not just going to go off
Mm-hmm.
his because he thinks it's best, even though he does.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna kind of hear everybody out. So I think it's a really interesting combination for somebody who was a leader for so long. I think it does
Definitely.
make a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And he's so like unique in his style and never afraid to like
Yes.
show it. I always call him like the face of YG. And like that his
Hmm.
style always stands out, and whenever they walk in the airport, he is like at the forefront. And I think that he's like you said, like the outspoken, he's not afraid to like show who he is or like give his opinions, whether that be on like fashion maybe in this instance. But yeah, he's a very, very special person in like the best way. I love Hyunsuk.
He would be very interesting because we said this in part one, like we're not going to find out their rising signs because I don't want to
Yeah.
have to track down their birth certificates to find out what time they were born because that
Yes.
is too far for me.
Good
Um,
disclaimer, all of this information that we're finding is public knowledge. It's mostly just
Public
off of
knowledge.
birthdays. If their birth time was public knowledge for some reason, Kelsey could have access to it. But again, we're doing all this off public information, which is birthdays.
Yes, exactly. And so for me, I could see him having more of an outspoken rising sign like Leo or like
Ooh,
Aquarius,
okay.
where he wants that sort of like on visual attention.
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'd be really interesting to find that out for. So are we ready to move to your boy Yoshi?
Yes, I'm very excited. I wish I had my Tume light stick here
Oh,
with my little Yoshi sign on it. But yes, let's go to Yoshi.
perfect. So Yoshi was born May 15th, 2000. His sun sign is Taurus, his moon sign is Libra, his Mercury is Gemini, and his Venus is Taurus. This to me, immediately off the bat, is like just a dreamy, sort of like ethereal being. I don't know how else to put that. And like, I think it's because he has so many feminine signs. Like Taurus and Libra are both feminine signs. They're both ruled by Venus, which is the planet of love. So, like, that immediately softens him. So, Sun and Taurus, kind of the same thing. Like, he is still headstrong. He does still love what he loves and hate what he hates. Like, he knows how to make a decision. He knows who he is at the bottom of the like core of himself. And I could see him leaning more into the Taurus of like liking luxury and liking comfort. Taurans are nesters. Like they are very much, they want the place around them to be very comfortable. Like they're sometimes known as like the sign who like eats their feelings. Like they love just feeling comforted. And I think that kind of goes into his moon as well, which his moon is in Libra. So I touched on this in part one. That's also my placement. My moon is in Libra. And I think for having that be your emotional center, it's both good and bad because Libras want to be really analytical. They want to be balanced. Their sign is justice. Their like symbol is the scales. So they don't
Oh.
want to go off the rails. Like Libra to me is not a sign where they're like, you rarely see it in like astrology memes. This is the only way I know how to explain this, where you're
We
like,
love a
I
good astrology meme in our
we
group
love a good
chat.
astrology meme. And it's like, oh, I know that crazy Pisces girl. It's like very rarely do I hear Libra classified as crazy. It does happen,
Sure.
but them to me, and like I personally think to the outward public, they're not the crazy ones. Now that being said, they can definitely like be obsessed with love, and same with Taurus, because that is sort of like their rulers. So they want that hopeless romantic, like really classic love they want forever with whoever they decide to be with.
Hmm.
But
Which,
moving on to his,
speaking of that,
yeah.
though, sorry, we just watched the behind recording of the song that Yoshi wrote and produced called Stupid, which is a love
Oh,
song, which that actually like makes a lot of sense in that regard because he writes and produces some songs. He's done a couple. We hope to see more songs for Treasure, and that like definitely lines up with that concept for sure.
that's so cute.
Yeah.
His Mercury being in Gemini is kind of interesting. It's not a placement I see very regularly at all, but I
Really?
think yeah, because sometimes I'll read charts and I'll be like, gosh, like I don't have a whole bunch of like personal references. I just have like what I know of the sign. This is one where I do have a few personal references, but compared to the rest of these charts, not a chance. But Mercury and Gemini to me, all air signs, despite the fact that because I'm also an air sign, I'm an Aquarius, despite the fact that we are like head in the clouds dreamers, we think big, we execute small. Like we are really good strategists. Like we are the type of people who like you want to get a plan done, give it to somebody with a lot of air signs because it's just one of those things where you're like, all right, I just need to execute this. I need to kind of turn off the feelings for a little bit and just get it done. Which I think is something that like our element is particularly good at. So that being in Mercury, I think he's very good at communication when he like wants to do something. When he has a plan and he wants it executed, or even if he's like, I just want to go to the shops, like he's going to make sure everybody knows. He's going to make sure everybody knows what the plan is. We're all meeting here at 4:54 and then we're getting out. But then again, I don't see him being very open with like how he feels and how he communicates. And he might not have that sort of reference. Like if he's having a bad day, he might not be able to communicate that as well as some of the other members. He might either kind of go too hard or too soft, either not share anything or kind of fly off the rails and say something he doesn't mean,
Oh,
which
interesting.
is a trait for air signs. We tend to not think all the time. We do think, it's not like we just fly off the handle and go emotional, but like I think sometimes the brain moves faster than the mouth. And so you're just kind of spouting things. And I could see that
Totally.
happening with a Gemini Mercury because Gemini to me, and I think I've said this to you before, is like they're kind of the like social butterfly. They're the queen bee. They want to know everything about everyone. They want to know the gossip. They want to have all the information available to them. Like they want to be the encyclopedia friend of like, I know how this is done. I know how this is done. Like the more information, the better for a Gemini. And so I think he probably listens well, but at the same time, he isn't who I would say would be like a really soft listener. Like if you're having a bad day, he's
Oh,
somebody that
interesting.
if you're like, hey guys, I need to figure something out. Let's talk it through. This is a placement that I would be like, yeah, absolutely. But then we go into his Venus, which is Taurus. And that's a great placement. Taurus is at home here with Venus. And like I said, I think he really truly is like hopeless romantic 101 based on this entire chart. Like he really loves the traditional aspects of love. It's kind of like
Cute.
the like K-drama, rom-com,
Yeah.
like doesn't really feel like putting in a whole bunch of effort. Like I don't see enemies to lovers for this at all. I see like best friends to lovers, like, get along from the beginning.
Very sweet.
Yes, very
Sweet and
sweet. So
easy.
yes, like
Yeah.
totally easy. He is to me like a very easy person, like ethereal and dreamy, like I said, which kind of works for him visually, which I think is interesting because
Yeah.
visuals are usually run by rising sign because that's part of your first impression is like how you look. And that can even be like I've known people with like Pisces rising who have like really big, beautiful eyes, or like I'm a Leo rising.
Oh.
I have like huge hair normally. So it's kind of like there. I don't always buy into stuff like that. As I've said before, like astrology is more just fun than anything else. Don't take it too seriously. But I think it is very funny sometimes when people look like their rising sign. So I'd be
Yeah.
curious to know what his is as well. But overall, to me, like he seems like hopeless romantic dreamer, but also knows what he wants, knows how to get it, like is gonna work hard towards it. He's not just gonna sit back and like let life happen to him. He wants to still be like a go-getter, and he sees like if he has a dream, he's gonna go get it. Like if he has a dream, he's gonna chase it to the ends of the earth, which I think
Yeah.
is really darling. So
And makes a
yeah.
lot of sense for an idol in general because they have
Mm-hmm.
to sacrifice and give up so much for their careers, right? So,
Totally.
I mean, he as well as a couple other members like came all the way over from Japan where they were YG trainees and went on to Treasure Box and worked really hard and he didn't technically make it into the final lineup. We'll get into that totally different
Another day.
series. Yeah. But then he made it into like the second lineup of the second group YG was putting. I mean, and then he was really like super underrated from what I've heard in Treasure
Yeah.
Box. I read all your comments out there. Everyone who comments on my videos and knows I'm a big Yoshi girl, love to give me the insight and I love it. But apparently he was like super underrated and underappreciated. And then like Treasure started and he's like main rapper. And now he's like
Love it.
one of my favorite humans in the whole world. So, at least for
He's so
me,
precious.
but I like to think he's very beloved as well amongst the fandom. So, You worked hard for it. But dreamy
I
makes
love
like a lot
that.
of sense. Like dreamy and ethereal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely how I see him. Shall we move on to Doyoung?
Yeah.
Okay, Doyoung was born December 4th, 2003. And when I tell you, when I saw this chart, I was stressed.
Oh no.
Um, his because I think I've mentioned before that like all signs can work together. All signs are compatible together if you work out different ways. Like, I'm not going to say that, like, a Sagittarius and a Taurus shouldn't be soulmates. They can. Like, you have a whole rest of your chart to work with. And on top of that, like, people make it work. You don't always have to go off of astrology for, like, is this relationship going to
Totally.
last? I think
Totally.
it's a good way to see, like, hey, these are my strengths and my weaknesses. Here are your strengths and your
Mm-hmm.
weaknesses. How do we kind of mesh those together? However, there are compatibilities between elements. So for
Ah,
instance, like air and fire are compatible, and then earth and water are compatible.
makes sense.
And
Yeah.
totally. And then on the opposite, water and air are usually the least compatible, and earth and fire are the least compatible. So when I see a lot of like conflicting elements in a chart, I get a little hesitant because I feel like this person has a lot of battling to do with like the two sides of a
Mm.
personality.
I'm
Um,
interested to hear this one. I already have like a lot of
yeah.
thoughts in my head about Doyoung because I love him so much, and again, he's one of my bias
Okay.
wreckers. But I also just wanted to say with this part of the conversation, I keep thinking of the movie Elemental, which is
Yes.
gorgeous and
Yes.
beautiful. But that's what I like visualize when we talk about like the
Totally.
air versus water versus earth versus fire. Like I just have like
Hmm.
little elemental characters popping up in my head.
I love that movie so much.
It's so good. I also wanted to say I am an oldest daughter. I only have one sister, and I'm a Gemini, and she is a Pisces. And I've talked to Kelsey about this because
Yeah.
there are things that conflict for sure, but she is also my best friend, ride or die in the whole entire world. So it can work. It can
I
work,
mean,
people.
literally, my like best friend of 13 years is a Scorpio, and I'm an Aquarius. So, like
By
we
now,
said,
you all know
everything can work.
Ashley. By all, you
Yes,
all know Ashley in
you've
the
all known
Gravity
Ashley.
series. Yes, so that's Kelsey's
Ashley and
best friend of
I
13 years, who she talked about in
are,
the first episode, which is hilarious.
yes, yeah. No, I am. We met in college. So now that you've met Ashley, you know who I'm talking about. She is a Scorpio. So Young, um,
Poor sweet Dobby.
oh buddy, his sun is Sagittarius, his moon is Aries, his Mercury is Capricorn, and his Venus is Capricorn. So immediately when I see this, I think
Kelsey's
I'm
stressed.
stressed. Um, I think somebody who speaks before they think. I think somebody who is going to make their opinion known no matter what. This is not somebody who I see as like, if they're quiet, it's because they're stewing. It's because they're thinking of something to say that is calculated. Sagittarius suns, especially guy Sagittarians, are a little bit all over the place. But at the same time, I think of guy Sagittarians as like, this is going to sound very odd. They're almost children. Like they still have childlike whimsy that I will never experience.
No.
And so, like, I think of someone like, for instance, if we're going off another K-pop group, like Woo Young from ATEEZ is the ultimate Sagittarius to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is
Mm-hmm.
a little child in a man's body, but like I think there's just that element of fun that
Yes.
male Sagittariuses really bring to the table.
Mm.
That being said, are they reliable? Not as much.
Mm.
But if you like sort of break down who a Sagittarius is at its core, is somebody who's like childlike wonder, but at the same time, they wish to experience the world. Sagittarius is somebody who like really loves to travel, even if they don't have the means to do so. Like they're constantly looking at videos from other places, like they want to learn about other cultures. So I feel like he's a very open-minded person. Like he's very willing to hear about different experiences than his, and he doesn't always think that he is like correct in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I think then we get into the moon and Aries. And like I said, Aries is very headstrong. They still can sort of access that emotional center, but I think they are one of those signs that I see, especially in this placement, that say things they don't always mean. You know,
Mm.
they can be the ones that everybody thinks Aries are hotheads. I don't think Aries are hotheads so much as just like they say what they mean the minute they feel it.
Kind
There's
of
not really a
feisty.
filter. Yes, there's no
Mm.
filter system. If they feel a way, you're going to know they feel that way. And both of these are similar to Capricorn, but Capricorns are like the workhorse of the zodiac. They are the ones who like dot the I's, cross the T's, like double check everything. Everything has to be perfect. So you've got these two signs that are really like kind of volatile. Again, not a bad way, just like they do what they feel. You know, they
Mm.
lead with their heart, they don't lead with their head. And then you have two signs that all it is leading with your head, no heart.
Oh, interesting.
So
Yeah.
I think that could be kind of a battle sometimes. So my guess is how that would sort of manifest is somebody who like can have fun but second guess themselves later, or like can say something like outward and then be like, oh shoot, did I hurt someone's feelings? Like, or did I come off too emotional?
Uh-huh.
Did I say something that I can't walk back?
So it's
Because with
funny that you say all that just because. Actually, no. I want to hear the rest of this and then I'll tell you what I was thinking
okay,
because
I
I don't
love
want
when
it
you
to
give me
influence as
examples.
like the reading at all. Okay, so we'll circle back to
Perfect.
this.
Um, so with his Capricorn Mercury, he is going to say exactly what he says. Like he is, and I feel like this is also a placement that like if you're working together, he is the type of person who will be like, you're not working hard enough.
Mm.
Like you need to step this up. Like, and he'll say it in a way that I think might convey more emotion or convey more like subtlety than that. But to me, he's somebody who like can't stand when people are not on track. Like
Mm.
he has the childhood whimsy, but I think it's more like playtime is for playtime, work time is for work time. We need to get this done. You don't have a choice. Like sit down, get it done. We all want to get out of here so we can like go eat food.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and so I think he could be kind of like more of a leader in that sense of, hey, guys, when I tell you like we need to get this done, we need to get this done. Whether they listen to him or not, that's everybody else.
It's funny
But
because
I
he is
think
technically the oldest of the Maknae line. Like
that's
technically, because you
fascinating.
have the
Yeah, yeah,
Hyuns
yeah.
and then the guys in the middle, which are like Jaehyuk and Asahi, like
Hmm.
the 2001s, and then Doyoung at 03 is technically the oldest of the Maknaes. Because then you have
I
oh
could
04,
see
oh
that.
05. That's funny.
And I could see him sort of stepping into that role as like
Mm.
somebody who wants to be heard, who wants to be
Mm.
seen as that leader. His Venus in Capricorn, now, unlike Yoshi's reading, this is a placement I see a little too often. I see a lot of people with Venus in Capricorn, which I find very funny because
Interesting.
it is one of, I think, the hardest placements to sort of deal with. So, Venus in Capricorn means that they desire perfection in whatever that means to them. And that can mean like they don't get married until their 40s because they haven't found the right person, or they are so hung up on this idea of what a perfect friendship should be, what a perfect relationship should be, that they end up kind of self sabotaging themselves. Mind you, this is not like if you see this placement, you're like, oh my God, I'm doomed. You're not. Like, perfection means different things to everybody. People are able to find it throughout their entire lives. Like, a lot of people who I know with this placement are happily married for many years. So, all I'm saying is, I think it is not as easy to work with as say Yoshi's like Venus and Taurus, where it's like he's dreamy, he's romantic, all this other stuff. Capricorns are not dreamy or romantic. Like they want what their idea is of romance or platonic friendship. They want somebody who is going to match their level of intensity on that. And they are very intense when they love. Like they are very all in, like 100%. When you have them, you have them. And if you break them, they're going to do like a social media hate campaign against you. Like,
Yeah.
not
I
speaking
wish they
from
had individual
experience.
Instagrams.
Oh God, yeah. So it's like I think Venus in Capricorn is a difficult placement, but it can also be like really fun to watch in the sense of like when they do find that and when they do get to show that really lovey side of themselves, like it's 100%. They dive so deep that you're just like, gosh, this is so amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think it is a really, really cool placement, but it definitely is somebody who has to work a little harder to get what they want.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they know what they want
Yeah.
and they're not going to settle for less. Again, perfectionist. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's Doyoung. He is fascinating. What were you thinking when I was saying this
So,
stuff?
yeah, especially in the first half, and when you talk about conflicting things, that makes me think of Doyoung so much because he's very much put out there, like visually and stylistically, and how they want his persona to be is like very princely, like he is like Treasure's
Mm,
prince for sure. You know, a little
got
bit more
it.
clean cut and proper, obviously incredibly handsome. But then
Mm-hmm.
when you get the little glimpses of who Do Young is outside of that, like, yes, he is obviously
Mm,
very like demure and princely and handsome, obviously, but like when you get to watch more variety and stuff and some of their treasure map things, it's like he is so incredibly like goofy and silly and just like
mm-hmm.
playful and sweet and like definitely loves on his members. So the Venus makes sense when like when you love someone, you really love someone because he
Yeah.
doesn't really shy away from showing love, but you can also see him in some things like having to pull back a little bit with like the conflict of like, oh, I'm, you know, my concept. Like I always call it with idols a concept. We only know what
Yeah,
they put out there for us to see and consume, and you know that's every group.
totally.
But like he's like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be like kind of princely and serious and kind of whatever, but then he's just like so funny and goofy. And I was forewarned by my treasure friends, like if you ever get to see what Do Young like dresses himself in,
Oh my God.
like on the daily, he is known for wearing this pair of pants to the airport that had stuffed animals all attached on it. It is like a full pant of stuffed animals. But like just that, you know, again, the contradiction and the conflict of like these two different things, whether it's put on him by the company or whatever it may be, or like his
Mm-hmm.
internal battles of like, oh, I want to be this like serious whatever, but really on the inside, I'm just this goofy little dude. Like that makes a lot of sense to me.
Oh, goofy little dude.
Sometimes you just like see it in his eyes when he's just like, wait, oh yeah. Like, oh wait, I was supposed to
Yep.
have this persona.
I
But
could
so
absolutely see
funny.
that. Yeah,
Me and
his
him
his
doing
so
our little
expressive.
secret handshake at High Touch, which we made up on the spot. Did I tell you about that when we were like,
Yeah.
I went in for a hand heart and he went in for a hand grab, but then he went for the hand heart and I went for the hand grab, and then we ended up literally like shaking hand. It was so funny. But I'm just like,
I
he speaks to my soul. I don't
yes.
know what it is.
And then we'll move on to Jung-u.
Yeah, we're
You
getting into the
ready?
machinays.
On to Jung-u. He's born September 28th, 2004. His sun is Libra, his moon is Aries, his Mercury is Virgo, and his Venus is Leo. So overall, like starting very strong for me. These are all signs that work really well together. And to me, he is the most like this kid, whether he's introvert or not, just wants to meet people and learn about people. And I think he is really a sensitive person, especially to other people's emotions and sort of what they're going through. And he wants to hear their stories. I see him being an extremely good listener. So, with the sun being in Libra, like we've kind of said, it's a very romantic sign, but it's also a sign of the people. It's another one of those that just really wants to know what you're about. Like Libras are selfish in a way, but at the same time, they're selfish in a way that like they just want to show you who they are. They're not selfish in the way of like, I'm so self-centered, I'm so about me. They just want to show you who they are and what they're about. So they sometimes can be known as like yappers. Or on the other end, they're very quiet because they want you to show you who like you are
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like give you the vibe of, hey, I'm listening. Hey, I understand. Hey, I relate to this. You know, they're always willing to sort of try to step into somebody else's shoes. And his moon being in Aries, which is the same as Doyoung, is very similar. Again, Aries, very, very worldly sign, one size fits all. And like I said with Doyoung, it's like he might speak before he thinks, but at the same time, I feel a little bit more confident that Jung-u does that softly. So so even if he's saying something, I don't think he has like the real capacity to be mean about it, like to be cutting. All of these signs to me are like they want to be bad, they want to be like badass and all up in your face, and they just aren't. They're like they literally all have small dog syndrome, all the signs
Oh.
in his chart of just like they want to bark really large and they're just not. And so I think with the moon in Aries, like he's gonna internalize his emotions, he's gonna feel them, but he's not gonna really stew on it for too long. Like Aries move on pretty quickly. They like things fast paced. You know, they'll hold a grudge every once in a while, but really truly, like they just want things to be over with. Like that's how it always is with an Aries. So if there's beef between you, it's because like that you guys can't figure it out. Like they want it to be figured out. They want it to be done and out of here and out of sight, out of mind. His Mercury being in Virgo is also very interesting because that is a sign that says exactly what they think. So right off the bat, you have literally all signs that say exactly what they think. But Virgo is one that is a massive thinker. They internalize everything. Like they are the anxiety attack of the zodiac.
No.
But again, they are one of the one size fits all signs, at least in my experience. Like they are somebody who like any sign could tell me they married a Virgo and I'd get it. You know, they could be like, yeah, I just fell in love with them. They're often known as being like boring. I love Virgos. That's my
There's
toxic trait.
a lot of Virgo sun signs in K-pop. I don't know what was
Yes.
happening in the month of like
Mm-hmm.
October,
So
but
many
so many September Virgos
Virgos.
in
Uh-huh.
K-pop as a whole.
Very few August ones, but you are absolutely correct. And I've biased most of them. So unintentionally, I give me a boring man all day long. I love them so much. I can't get over it. Unfortunately, it's my kryptonite. But for a Mercury Virgo, I think that's something like they just want to say how they feel, even if they don't understand why they're feeling it.
Mm.
So they're still going to be really sort of in your face about it, kind of similar to Doyoung in the way that like he's not going to sit back and say like, yeah, it's fine if we, you know, joke around during practice. He's like, no, get your stuff done. Like, get it over with. We all want to go out and play and have fun. Like, please, for the love of God, get it together. I could see him kind of being like everybody get in here. Like, we
Yeah.
just need to do this. Um, and I think he also puts in the work to communicate with
Mm-hmm.
others. Like, that's not something that I would say comes very naturally to him, like listening and you know, with the Libra and the Aries, it might come better than if he just had earth signs. But I think he still struggles. Like the scenario that I can see in my mind is if someone asks him for advice, he's the one to try to fix it, not necessarily sympathize. Like, you know, you come to him with a problem. I always say to people, like, because I am somewhat this way, do you want me to fix it or do you want some advice or do you want
Yeah.
some sympathy? Like,
Yeah.
what is your desired outcome? Otherwise, you're going to get me being like, well, here's the
Mm.
5 point way that I would turn this situation around. And I could see him absolutely doing that with this Mercury. With his Venus in Leo, this is interesting because whenever I see this placement, the first thing that comes to mind is somebody who wants to be around people that make them bigger and better. So Virgo is, or not Virgo, Leo is a lot about appearances. And a lot of the times people are like, yeah, they want to be like the center of attention of the zodiac. I don't always think that. I think they want to be recognized entirely for what they're doing. So I think if he shows love to somebody, he wants that recognized. You know, he wants them to know
Yeah.
that that's not a common occurrence. If you get his love, you are special. Like
Aw.
you are like you've worked for that. Leos are not
Yeah.
just
It's
ones that are
cute.
going to give it away willy-nilly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, when I see this romantically, it's usually like this person wants to date somebody who's like older or somebody who's like higher up at their company or like the optics look really good. Like everybody with a Venus and Leo always wants to get with somebody who like makes them look good. You know what I mean? And again, this can be platonic friendship wise. Like they surround themselves with people who they are like, we work together. Like we complement each other, either like
Yeah.
visually or personality wise. Like they want to be with people that make them better, as
That's
opposed
awesome.
to like people who worship them, which I think a lot of people assume that that's what Leo wants. And to a point, they do. Really,
Well, who
they just want to
doesn't?
be
Let's be
recognized.
honest.
Yeah, who doesn't want somebody to worship their, hand and foot? But to me, this sign really just wants to be recognized and wants to know that their efforts aren't going in vain and that this effort that they're putting out is not just like, oh, I felt like doing this. It's like, no, if I do an act of service or I, spend quality time with you, whatever your love language is, it's because I've planned to do so. I've thought to do so. It is not because you deserve it necessarily. It is because, like, I'm showing you that this is how I feel. And I would like that either reciprocated or recognized. So I think this is a really interesting chart
I
in a
think
good
so
way.
too. And someone who knows Jung-u more than me, put it down in the comments. I find that really interesting because when I see or observe Jung-u, I see him as just a very strong person in every way. Like, I don't know if masculine is the right word for it, but he seems strong
Mm,
and masculine and solid and
steadfast.
sure of
Yeah.
himself. Steadfast is a great word for it. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Even just watching him through high touch. And I will say, you said little drug syndrome. He is huge. He's big. He's like broad shoulders, so tall. I literally like looked up at him. I was like, oh my
Uh-huh.
God. Anyways, I just wanted to make that comment. He is very tall and very broad. But yeah, so it's a very interesting reading for me because like he's not someone with the members who is overly touchy-feely,
Affectionate.
lovey-dovey, affectionate. Whereas I've always said like Treasure's collective love language is physical touch. Not that he doesn't like want that or think that, but like I don't know,
Totally.
just that's the way I see him. But then he's got like his best friend Haruto that he's always like joking around with and stuff, right? Like they're my 04 liners. They're so cute together.
Um,
Yeah,
I
but
love boy
again,
best
being the
friend.
main vocal in one of the biggest boy groups under YG,
It's a lot of pressure.
yeah, the Venus sign also makes sense. Wants to surround himself with the best and people that help
Hmm.
him achieve the best and be one of the best.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That makes sense. So last but certainly not least, we have
Ugh,
Junghwan.
I'm
He
excited
is,
about this one.
oh, you should be.
I love our
Um,
youngest.
he's his chart is wild. So he's born February 18th, 2005. And I say his chart is wild because I know a lot about his chart in the sense of
Okay.
we share a few placements. So his sun is
Okay.
Aquarius, his moon is in Gemini, his Mercury is in Pisces, and his Venus is in Aquarius.
Okay.
So the sun being in Aquarius, he's our first Aquarian, if I'm right, for this group.
Oh, I wish my
Um,
memory was that good. You're probably right.
Guess what? I can flip to my other page of notes. He is. He
Okay.
is our only Aquarius in this group, which is how it should be. You never want two Aquarians in a room. It doesn't go well. I'm a twin. I should know. And so Aquarians, especially Aquarius suns, like we thrive on being our own individual. You often hear Aquarians being called like very weird. And to
It's
me,
all the
like I
memes.
take that as a compliment. Like that is what I want you to say about me. I want you to say I'm weird. I want you to say that I'm like unique and interesting. Like we are constantly wanting to be one of a kind, despite the fact that like obviously we're not. Um,
I
and
think
I
you're one of a
think
kind, Kelsey.
thank you so much. Um, and I think that also leads into like you'll hear a lot of the times, and I'm not going to say that I don't fall victim to this, that Aquarians have a God complex. Like they think that they are like better than everyone, their opinions are better. And again, this comes from this like deep need of wanting to be like interesting and unique and have the only right opinion. We are somebody who are similar to Taurus in the way that like we think we are always right. However, I do think we will admit when we're wrong.
Mm.
Um, Whereas Taurans are like, no, I was right the whole time. What do you mean? Like they will switch an entire situation. I love my Tauruses, but they will. And so they've never been wrong a day in their lives. Whereas like when we're wrong, we admit it with Aquariuses. We will say so. And I think we're also teetering on the edge of like we're a sign that can either be very extroverted or very introverted. And we have like kind of two polar opposite extremes. So I think that as like the youngest could be really difficult because it could be seen as immature.
Hmm.
Like I think there is a sort of like until you sort of understand that that is how you function and that is how you work, like that's really hard for other people to sort of comprehend. And it's hard for Aquarians to explain themselves almost always. Like explaining how we think compared to how like other humans think is so bizarre. Like another good example of like the peak Aquarian of Aquarians is Soul from P1 Harmony. Like that boy is an
Oh,
alien. Like he
oh, I
does
love
not
him so
think
much. Okay.
the
Yep,
yeah,
sure. That makes sense.
exactly.
That
Like he does
tracks.
not think the way that the rest of us think. Like he's just on his own planet. And I think from what I've seen of Junghwan, he has those moments where like he isn't making sense to other people, but like it makes total sense to him. Like, what do you mean? And the moon being in Gemini kind of only amplifies this because those are two signs that are not very in touch with their emotions. Again, Gemini is very like has their outward side, has their inward side. Aquarians are known for like not having emotions, except for being one of the most emotional signs. Like we take things so personally. Like I'll think about something that I said at like 3 in the morning that I said like 12 years ago, and I'll like still cry about it. It's awful. So we take things really personally and we'll often overanalyze because we're the strategists of
Mm.
the entire zodiac. We're the ones who like if you're going into war and need like a battle plan, like find an Aquarius. Like I said, the air signs were super good at planning things. Taking care of ourselves while planning things, not good at it all. We actually
Yeah.
really are awful. And so having his moon sign be like this sort of like hot and cold of he wants to understand his emotions, but he doesn't want to show them and he doesn't want to share them with people. He just sort of wants to deal with it on his own. I could see him
Mm.
being somebody who, like, when he's having a minute, he just needs to absolutely get out. Like, he needs to, like, go sit in a closet for like 2 hours, go take a nap, go play some video games and dissociate. Like, he is not going to be somebody who's going to go up and be like, hey guys, I need to talk about my feelings. Who's
Mm.
around? Like that's
Oh,
never gonna happen.
yeah.
Like he is very much somebody who I can see not wanting to share that side of himself very easily and only sharing it with people he like absolutely trusts with his life.
Mm.
And I think conflict for him because of that moon in Gemini is really tough. And then we move to his Mercury, which is in Pisces. So this makes conflict even rougher because Pisces are the exact opposite of Aquarians. Um,
Mm.
like we said, water and air don't always mix. So when
Yes.
you see them in the same chart, you're like, this is a push and pull. Pisces are extremely emotional. I think when I see this as somebody who can be a bit passive aggressive, but is purely that way because they don't like confrontation. However, it might not always come off that way.
Mm.
I think Mercury and Pisces, you are going to know if they're upset, whether or not they tell you. I don't think Pisces like to think they're like super mysterious and like they're the like little fish in the ocean and you know they just
Not
swim
like other
on by.
girls.
Yes. And that is not the case. Pisces are super like they cannot hold on to their emotions to help anything. Like they're going to tell you how they feel, but it's not going to be tactful. And I think with his Mercury in Pisces, I think passive aggression can come through. But at the same time, like for all of these different signs kind of pushing and pulling against each other, I think if he has something to tell you, it's coming from the heart. Like there's no like pretense with it. Like he says what he means. And I think he thinks about it a lot more than some of the other boys. Like if he's going to come to you with an issue, he has been vacillating over this for like 6 weeks.
Mm.
And then you'll be like, I didn't even realize we still had a problem. Like, and he's like, well, actually, this like really hurt. And so I think that Mercury in Pisces, like that being his most emotional center, he also could be somebody who, when interjecting his opinion, doesn't always back it up with anything but his feelings.
Mm.
So, like, you know, if he's like, if he doesn't like some choreo, he might be like, well, I feel like this isn't good, you know? And again, I think I'm making it sound worse than it is because it isn't bad. It's still a really cool placement to have. I think it's just like the push and pull is really fascinating to
Hmm.
me in his chart. And his
There's a
Venus
lot
is
of
an
push and
Aquarius.
pull in this half of the group. Like a
I know.
lot.
Whereas like
Like,
last group,
dang.
it was like they all worked together, like all
Yeah,
their signs
harmony within
worked.
your planets.
Yeah,
Not
no.
group two in Shining Solo, apparently.
No, no. His Venus in Aquarius is another placement I share, so I know it quite
Mm.
well. And it is funny because much like Leo wants to surround themselves with people who make them better, Aquarians want to surround themselves with people like who make them more interesting. And
Oh.
and that doesn't mean like you have to be interesting. It means like you want to do interesting things together. You want to push them out of their comfort zone. We're very comfortable where we are usually. So we sometimes need people to be like, hey, why don't we go do this thing that you've never thought about? And so it's sort of this like, we need to be led a little bit, even though people assume that because we have God complexes that we are the leader and want to be the leader. It's like, no, actually, most of us just like want to be told what we're doing, you know?
My
And like,
favorite thing is when I'm with Kelsey and the question is, what do
100%.
you want to eat later? And
Yep.
Kelsey just goes, I am not in a position to make any decisions right now. Someone else has to
No,
pick. It's just so funny. I'm like, oh, yes, yes. Okay. Gotcha. We
my
will pick.
worst nightmare is
Not
picking a
today.
restaurant.
We
My
will find
favorite
the
thing,
place. We'll make a decision.
my favorite thing is that for like the last 5 years, my present from my cousin has been when we go out to dinner, she picks the restaurant for my birthday. And I'm like, that's exactly what I want. Sorry. Theo. Hey, so his Venus in Aquarius, he wants to be surrounded by interesting people. He's also very attracted to weirdness or like quirkiness. So, like, this is not a sign that's going to go for like romantically, like a model or a world famous actress
Hmm.
or somebody that the entire world thinks is like the most beautiful person. In fact, they probably don't find them beautiful at all. Like, they find
Interesting.
like somebody with like very strange features beautiful, or like
Mm.
there has to be something weird about the person they love. And they have to be unique in their own right. And with friends, that's kind of like, again, they surround themselves with people who want to be more interesting, but at the same time, they surround themselves with people who know who they are. Like, we are not here for a journey. We are like, we're
Hmm.
here to love you for exactly who you are right now. You know, so
Hmm.
show us your most authentic self and you'll be rewarded with the same. Because Aquarians are not great at like throwing up smoke screens or anything like that. Like, a lot of people think they're mysterious. I do not. I think once you get to know an Aquarius and you're like actually friends with them, there's no mystery at all. I think leading up, we are a bit more closed off. And so, like, I've been told by many a person that I come off pretty cold.
Hmm.
But then at the same time, like, for instance, at work and things like that, like, people don't know a lot about me. That's intentional. And stuff like
You don't
that.
need
So,
work
like,
friends. That's
no,
how I
exactly.
feel.
So stuff like that where he
Hmm.
can like kind of control his image a little more. But with the people that he loves, like he is his weird self. Like that's how you know you've got like an Aquarian's trust and adoration is when they're like being strange around you and everybody's just cool with it because this is just what happens with Junghwan. He just is that way sometimes kind of deal.
Hmm.
So he has a fascinating little chart for me. I do feel like he'd be quite funny. I think that's because like the moon in Gemini, Geminis to me, I find very entertaining, but Pisces do have a sense of humor that like isn't for everybody, but is for me. They're often like very sarcastic and like very dark. So I could see him with all of these placements. Like, I think he has a like black sense of humor, like just really, really dark sense of humor.
Maybe we
And
don't get to see that as fans, but I would be curious. He is
I would be curious.
really funny, and honestly, to me, unintentionally funny and like
Yes.
naturally funny. I'll be watching
Mm-hmm.
things, and I just find some of the things he does and says the cutest, most adorable, funniest, silliest little things in the whole entire world, where it might be something just unnoticeable to other people. When I watch him, I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, what a weird little dude. What a funny little dude he is. Like,
Yep.
I watched him just like suck up an egg once.
It was so cute. Was he the one with the egg? I couldn't remember if it
He's
was
the
him or
one with the egg.
Haruto.
Yoshi's like, does anyone want my egg? And well, for one, Jungwon loves to eat, but then he just took it and he took the spoon. He just like just sucked up this whole egg. And to me, I'm like, that's the funniest thing I've ever seen in my whole entire life. I just
No,
died
that's
and I
so
watch
good.
that clip all the time. But yeah, he's got his own little sense of humor for sure.
He has his own little place in
And
this world.
and again, I don't think he did that to be funny. I think I just found it really funny, but he is very like silly and funny. He makes his
I could
older
see
members
that.
very happy for sure. He keeps them entertained.
It's interesting because I think a lot of the Aquarians that I see in K-pop are in the Maknae line. Like Seoul,
Interesting.
IN's an
Mm.
Aquarius and Stray Kid,
Ian.
Junghwan. Like, I think, which is so funny because to me, Aquarius is not like a childlike sign like Sagittarius, where they like are the
Mm.
perfect little Maknae.
Yeah.
But I guess it really works for them. I don't know.
Is
So that's
Lehan an Aquarius?
you would think he is not.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he's a
Well.
Libra, but I have never done his full
Oh.
chart. So like
Well.
there he's the world's oddball. He could
Yeah.
be.
Him and Soul
We
need to be
know
best
this.
friends. But
Oh,
you'll be in
they
luck,
wouldn't speak.
Kelsey, because I think our second series, now that we've wrapped up Treasure, is going to be Boy Next Door.
Yay!
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. I love Boy Next Door, but I don't
Me
pretend to
too.
know nearly as much about them as I do of some of my other groups. So I think it would be fun to go into this together.
I
Um,
completely agree.
since you love Boy Next Door as well, but again, maybe you don't know as much as like we know Stray Kids so well,
Totally.
right? ATs
Yeah.
so well. But like Boy Next Door is kind of that next one that I'm like, I want to hear about their charts a little bit and then
Look, you don't have
see
to ask
what
me
adds
twice.
up.
I'm so in. I'm so in.
Yay! But yes,
Man.
any last thoughts on Treasure?
No, I mean, I think they all really make sense together as a group. Like, there's kind of someone for everyone. Like, going back through these charts, like, it makes sense why these are the boys that have, like, stayed together and stayed so close. Like,
Mm-hmm.
they really are a bunch of, like, a lot of them are super good listeners. A lot of them are super good communicators. Others are, like, hopeless romantics. And then you have some that kind of, like, bring the fun and bring the energy. Like, I think it's a really nice mix. Sometimes I see
Yay!
groups and they're like all earth signs, and I'm like, oh, you have fun with that. I don't know if you've ever looked at day six's charts. That's a trip. That one is very fascinating. They are a fascinating group astrologically. So, anyways, I think Treasure works together great.
Yeah,
I,
and
I
they're like a
really,
family. I
and it
love that. They
makes
really
sense.
are. Like you can
Hmm.
tell we talk about like different not relationships, but relationships to each other, like within groups. And some
Yes.
people are like, they're like siblings, they're like family, like they're like cousins, which is one of my favorite dynamics as someone who's close to their cousins. But yeah, you can tell they're like really family. Some people are
Yeah,
like, oh, best friends in a group. So I love that. I love
absolutely.
to hear it. But yes, last time we did superlatives for the other five, so we're going to do
Okay.
superlatives for this group of five.
So excited.
The first superlative I thought of was most likely to talk themselves out of a ticket.
Oh, in this group,
Yeah.
oh, I could see Yoshi. I could see Yoshi charming his way out.
Mm.
Like he would be like, "I did it. I'm so sorry I did it, but I had something really important to go to." Like he would totally admit it. Like he wouldn't try to like lie or anything, but he would just be so earnest that I think they
Aw,
would they would
cute.
crack for sure.
Most likely to vacation solo.
Oh, interesting. I could see Jung-u doing a little solo rant, like just solo ramp off. Like he wants to go to a country no one else wants to go to. I don't think he'd have an issue with that. I think he'd want people to come along if he asked, but if it was down to like, hey, you have a day and you just want to go do this, I think he wouldn't have a problem with that at all. I
Nice.
think he would have some fun. And he'd probably meet new people, which he probably wants to do.
Yeah, that's sweet. I did like this from last one, and I'm kind of curious on this episode as well. Most likely to be class president.
I mean, I think it has to be Hyunsuk. Like, I think he could make it work with anybody. Like, he could really turn on the charm, but I also think he would like listen to different people with their problems. And I think he could come at it from that angle too of like, you're not getting what you want, I'll get you what you want. Like, no worries. I'll be the voice of a nation. Like, I think he could absolutely play that off for sure.
Love, 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 love our former leader. The next one is most likely to live on a sailboat.
Doyoung. It's
Doyoung?
Doyoung. Mhm. Well, actually, to be fair, I could see him or Junghwan, but I think Junghwan would like need like civilization. I feel like Doyoung, as long as he's like traveling and everything is like going to plan and like he has an idea of where he wants to be, I feel like he would be just fine with it. Like, I
Incredible.
think he'd be fine.
Love
Yeah, if
it.
that's what he wants, absolutely not an issue.
Incredible. Love that for Dobby.
Hmm.
Last but not least, most
Okay.
likely to survive a zombie apocalypse.
Oh God, that's a really good one. I personally think Hyunsuk or Junghwan. I
Ooh,
think
okay.
because both of them seem pretty headstrong and both of them seem to be decent like planners and people who get things done.
Hmm.
I think that, and I also think like both of them have signs that would survive out of pure dumb luck. Like
Really?
they would just make it through, not even being that smart about it, but just like with a little bit of dumb luck, a little bit of effort. I think both of those two would be the ones who I would put my bets on for sure. Yeah, I think the others, I don't see them
Most
lasting as
likely to be
long.
the first to go in a zombie apocalypse. I'm tacking on an extra one here because now I want to know.
Probably Doyoung or Yoshi. I feel like Yoshi would
If
feel
he
bad
can't get
about
off on
killing a
that
zombie.
sailboat and float away from the
Yeah,
zombies, then
if
he's
he's on the
first
sailboat,
to
he's
go.
good. I feel like Yoshi would just feel bad. Like
Uh,
he wouldn't be able to do it. Like I think he'd like see the humanity within them and just be like, I can't do it, take me.
so sweet.
That's how I feel about him.
That's
I don't,
funny.
yeah, that's so funny. That's
That's
a great question.
hilarious. Awesome. Well, thank you again
Of
so much,
course.
Kelsey. This has been so much fun. I just love
Been a
hearing
blast.
all the details of the readings and everything like that. Again, not making any like true assumptions about the boys, but what their readings may say about them. And we are going to
Mhm.
do, like I said, Boy Next Door next. So everyone get excited and geared up for that. That'll be upcoming in
Ooh,
episodes 3 and 4. And
yay.
I'm excited for that one. They're about to do
Me too.
Lollapalooza too, so
So
lots of
fun. I'm so
exciting things.
jealous.
Lots of exciting
Yes,
things.
yes, yes. Thank you
So
for having me.
absolutely,
I
as
enjoyed it so
always,
much.
of course. And as always, if you agree or if you disagree with some of these readings or think like some things were spot on or totally off, please let us know. Like we said, this is just for fun and all good intentioned. And we want to hear if any of these readings just happen to be spot on. I love astrology. I love MBTIs, Enneagrams, all that stuff.
Yep.
I find it so fascinating, but we want to hear from you. And if there's any other groups that you all would like to see come next, please, please, please let us know. Drop them down in the comments below and let us know what you want to see. And as always,
Yes, yes, yes.
stand treasure.
Bye.